Welcome into Dolphins Today. As promised, winners and losers from an impressive performance out of Miami in Week 2 of the NFL Preseason. They take down the Texans 28-3. The starters got some run, and I don't know about you guys, I'm feeling pretty good about where things sit for Miami after a very impressive performance. If you are hyped, if you are ready for the Dolphins regular season, then share today's video. No faster way for us to grow here at Dolphins Today than by sharing the video. When you guys do that, it gets it in front of new audience. They typically tend to enjoy it. They subscribe, and we keep growing and keep the lights on as we expand office space for chat sports. All right, the first of my Week 2 winners. Let's cheat right off the bat. The offense. Last week, they couldn't finish. They actually moved the ball well. I thought they outplayed the Falcons. This week, they did finish over almost 400 yards of offense. They had 400, then 2 kneel downs, dropped it below. So, we'll call it 400 yards there. Much more efficient, less, mistake prone in the passing game. They ran the ball super well, 5.4 yards per carry. Yes, inflated by the one Salvon Ahmed run, but it's still really good. 1 turnover per 4 last week, much better showing on offense. I think maybe your biggest winner, or at least one of your 2 biggest winners this week, was Salvon Ahmed, the backup running back. Raheem Mostert played a series, talk about him a little bit. Jeff Wilson did not play. Myles Gaskin did not play. More on him in a little bit too. And Ahmed was awesome. My boy Willie Finns texted me mid-show, Ahmed RB1. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think he really helped himself in the battle against Gaskin, who was really good last week in the battle for RB2. It's really tough to cut a player who's been around your team for a while, is still young and cheap, and had almost 100 yards, and actually had 100 yards before he had to come back in because of the Devon A-Chain injury and then lost 2 yards on a carry. He had 10 for 101 in that game. That's awesome. Along a 65. Also caught the ball well. 4 catches, 32 yards, and a score. I thought Salvon Ahmed was one of the better players in that entire game. Obviously, skill guys get so much attention, but I'm not going to complain about that one right there. I was impressed by Ahmed in this one. So who was your biggest winner from the Dolphins against the Texans game? Obviously, we're focused on the Dolphins side of things here. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage. Head down there. Let me know your biggest winner from this game. I bet I'll see some Skylar Thompson comments in there. The Dolphins offense was bad in Week 1. Thompson, a big part of that. Didn't play very well, missed a lot of throws. I thought was much more on his game in this one. 15 of 22, 157 yards. Not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns in this one out of Skylar Thompson. I think he has set himself up in position, potentially to be the QB2, or at least make that a better battle. Because if he had played bad, Mike White might have run away with it. So do you want Thompson as the number 2 quarterback behind Tua Tagovailoa? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Speaking of Tua, he is our next winner. Now, this game could have gone a different direction if the first throw from Tua is what we saw the entirety of that game. Tua did not have a good first throw. In fact, it was a dumpster fire, a horrible pass, a bad interception. He's rolling left and throws it across his body, and it's right to the defender. Just a bad decision across the board there from Tua, who finished the game, by the way, 5 of 7 through the air for 61 yards. So he went 5 of 6 for 61 yards on that second drive. A much better performance out of Tua, and maybe a great reason why the Dolphins gave the starters some play. That had been the first play of the game. Ooh, that might not have gone over very well, of a real game, I should say. Settled in nicely, much better bounce back after some shaky stuff in practices even for the Dolphins offense. All right, Raheem Mostert, he was the one who scored the Dolphins' first touchdown of the game. He finished in total a nice 5 yards per carry. One of 3 different Dolphins backs who had over a 10-yard carry, by the way, went 6 carries, 30 yards, long of 16. That's 5 yards per carry with the starters out there. Jeff Wilson did not go. If you had any doubts as to who RB1 was, for this Dolphins team, it is very clearly Raheem Mostert. So hats off to him for a very quality performance. I think you feel good overall about this Dolphins offense right now. If you guys want to stay updated with everything going on around your Fins, you've come to the right spot. Hit that sub button for more free Dolphins videos all season long. One more offensive winner. I'm going to give it to Braxton Berrios, who was the Dolphins' leading receiver by a yard. He had 3 catches, 33 yards, and a score. Was the main receiver out there in terms of the top option. Once Tyreek Hill left, he didn't play that much there. Berrios didn't play, I think, at all in the second half, unless maybe I missed him or misremembering. Excuse me. I think he's your front runner to be receiver 3. Behind Hill and Waddle. Waddle did not play. I was impressed by him. Good performance. You want a slot receiver, return option? There's your guy. So after week 2, because I doubt we'll see the starters next week, what is your confidence level in the Dolphins offense? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. Go vote right now. Let's cheat again. How about the defense? It's really tough to not come away impressed with what the Dolphins did today on the defensive side of the football, right? Average allowed under 4 yards per play, 186 yards of total offense, 17 of 34 for 4.5 yards per play through the air. You had the number 2 overall pick, a former starting quarterback. They couldn't do diddly. The ground game was non-existent for for Houston against Miami. Hats off to the defense. They stood strong. That opening drive will go a long way. First and goal from the 7 to start the game off. Houston got nothing. The big splash play I saw, by the way, how about the play of David Long? I thought he was really good. Now, 2 tackles, 1 TFL, that's it. Didn't play that much there. Great downhill stop of a run play. Well done from David Long. I thought he was really impressive in a small sample size. Now, I have to go back and watch the corners again, more in depth when we get the all-22, or at least the condensed version again, and kind of try to scrub through and cheat. Parry Nickerson did have 2 pass breakups, and I think maybe 1 catch allowed, if that. I still doubt he makes the roster, but he can play in the nickel. And with uncertainty at that spot, that's why the Dolphins worked out Bryce Callahan this past week. Maybe Nickerson can flash and earn a practice squad spot. Now, if you bet on the Dolphins to cover, congratulations. If you bet the under, you came away as well because the Texans scored 3 points. Hopefully with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. The Dolphins are 3rd in the AFC East odds at plus 300. Here's what I would do. I take my 125% deposit bonus. I'll take $5. Put it down on the Dolphins. If they win, yes, I just turned 10 into 30. If they lose, I had house money. I'm fine. Bet on the Dolphins at BetUS, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125. Again, I mentioned this on our live show and our post-game show. Trench play in the live when I'm doing play-by-play stuff is really tough to identify in the moment unless it's bad. Well, Houston had, although no sacks, there were some pressures. Houston had 2.3 yards per carry. The longest run was 7 yards. That probably means your interior linemen, which was Zach Sealer, Raekwon Davis for a little bit in the game, but mostly Brandon Peely, Josiah Bronson, I think we had a shout-out to at one point in the game, Randy Charlton, Jalen Twyman, Deshaun Hand. That tells me those guys probably played pretty well. I'll have to go back and watch again, get really kind of study it, but I'm betting those young defenders help themselves out as they fight for a roster spot. All right, preseason week 2 losers. Connor Williams, multiple bad snaps. Things you don't love to see. A bad snap I think maybe snapped it too early, almost led to a safety. Had another bad snap that led to a totally blown up play that Thompson fumbled on. He recovered, got lucky. You want a new deal, Connor? Snap the damn ball properly. Next up is Mike White. Now, as we sit here filming, I've seen no other updates in terms of was Mike White injured from that perspective. He didn't play really at all, which is really curious. So maybe there was. And he took a big hit when Thompson took the game for his own concussion testing. I would assume he's fine, but he didn't play. Thompson played well. Who is your biggest loser then from the Dolphins versus Texans game? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. And I'm a bit worried about Eric Saubert making this team. Has he done much of anything? I'm like, how many times, like, even if they're watching the camp reports or the preseason, have you seen, Saubert, nice play? Not much. Elijah Higgins didn't make this team. Thought Julian Hill flashed. Tyler Kroft kind of working alongside him was better in the first game. So I'm going to keep an eye on Saubert being a surprise cut. All right, Myles Gaskin did not play because of injury. Salvon Ahmed looked awesome. Unfortunately for Gaskin, who was good in week 1, by the way, that's a stock down. And the other losers, the injuries. We'll see if we get more news, Sunday or Monday. But Robert Jones, lower body extremity injury. Devon Achane, a shoulder. Hopefully those guys end up being okay.